Hey everyone. Now, welcome to the screen recording of how I utilize Google Flights and how I utilize other OTAs for booking flights. So, this example is going to be when I'm looking for flights and I'm looking to pay with cash. Again, when I say cash, I mean obviously I'm going to pay with credit card to get the points. So, I just want to show you some of the features of Google Flights. This is the best flight search tool out there, and I will, show you a few other things. Again, like I mentioned in the previous section, I normally start with Google Flights and then book directly through the airline. And I'll show you a quick example of how I start off with a workflow and how I go about booking flights. In general, I like to book my flights 2 to 3 months in advance. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to do that every time when I'm looking to go somewhere more spontaneous. But that's a good rule to try to follow. 2 to 3 months has been normally the best time to book flights. A lot of people think that if you delay and you book last minute, they're going to get some crazy good deal. But the reason is that this doesn't work is because a lot of business travelers book their flights last minute. So like the week before they're about to fly, they'll book the flights and it'll be normally like 2 or 3 times more expensive. So on average, it's better to book 2 to 3 months out, and normally the sooner the better. You do get in, like if you're looking to book a year in advance or 6 months in advance, probably too far. The best range is going to be around 2 to 3 months before your trip. So let's try out a quick example. So as you can see here, here's the Google Flights interface. Let's go ahead and just put in some dates here. Let's go ahead and look in April or March. So March 6th, say we want to do a 3-week trip. And I don't really know where I want to go. I just know I want to go to Europe. And this is a great way to start off. Let's say you don't know exactly what country or what city you want to fly into. Let's just say it's good to start with the continent and kind of work your way down. One of the cool features about Google Flights is it allows you to start with a country or a region. So you can just put Europe and it'll show you the cheapest flights for your dates. So, oh man, like I didn't really know where I wanted to go, but like London sounds pretty awesome. And it has like some really good cheap flights there. So $359. I could go to Madrid for $477. Okay, here's some great options. I have my dates pretty, locked in. Maybe you're a little bit flexible, but let's just go ahead and try this first stop here. So one stop, American Airlines $359 round trip flight from Miami. I mean, I didn't really know where to start, but like that sounds like a great place to go. And one of the cool things is, let's go ahead and look at this flight and see the options. So they do have a few nonstop options, which is cool. So Virgin, a great airline. But again, you could do this one stop for $359. I'm always a big proponent of any international flight. I don't like to have more legs, so the less the better. So I would normally book this $379 trip on Virgin. It is a red eye, but whatever, you save on a night of accommodation. You're able to wake up in London and go exploring. And once you get to London, the cool thing is if you want to fly anywhere else in Europe, so let's say you wanted to, take another round trip flight, you could book 2 or 3 weeks here and you could just go spend a week in London and then book another round trip flight, let's say to Paris or to some other surrounding area in Europe, and book this really cheap international flight for the round trip. And then just make sure you're back on Thursday, March 19th, to make sure you make that return flight back to Miami. And here's a few really cool features. So when I've picked out my 2 destinations, I'll track the prices, and then I'll make different alerts for their surrounding days. So if I'm a little flexible on those dates, I'll go ahead and track prices for every one of those dates. And you can see here, prices are currently low, $165 cheaper than usual. So if you're looking to book, you're kind of set on this trip. I mean, just look at this. This is a really good deal. That's one of the great things about being close to a hub like Miami, New York, California. You have a lot of these really good flight options, and $359 to get to London. And from London, you can get to almost any other European country or city for around $100. And so you could just book a 3-week or 2-week trip and then go explore some of the other parts of Europe. So if I were looking to book this, I would book this right now. This is a really great deal. It's in the shoulder season. It's going to be a little cold in March, but it's still be fairly nice. Like it's a it's a really good time to go because everything's going to be a lot cheaper and a lot less crowded. So that's one feature to check. Make sure you turn on alerts. But again, I don't think it's going to drop much lower than this. So if you were looking to book, I would just go ahead and grab that flight. And the cool thing is most airlines have a 24-hour refund policy. So if you're looking to impulse buy something, you can at least sleep on it and see, okay, this just isn't going to work out. I can't take 3 weeks off to travel, for whatever reason. You can go ahead and usually get that refund. And that's one of the great benefits for booking directly. So let's just take a look at the date grid, though, and see if there's any other cheaper options out there. So let's say maybe we wanted to fly on a Monday where it'd be $356. Again, not worth the price. Sometimes it's worth it if it's a lot cheaper. But I'm not seeing any flights that are much cheaper than $359. So this looks like a great deal. So let's check the other dates here. So $359. Yeah. Not seeing any other options for much cheaper. So this is a great tool to utilize the dates grid. You can also switch over to the price graph. And this is another great way to show, okay, here's the best options, here's the prices, here's the round trip prices. So I'm not seeing anything much cheaper than $359. So that's always good to check. Let's see, you can check nearby airports. So the one thing to consider, though, is like if you are flying into London, the airports are pretty far outside. So London Heathrow is 47-minute drive. The good thing about London Heathrow is it is crowded, but they do have good transport options where you can just take the tube, the metro, and go directly into the city. So do keep that in mind. A lot of these other cities like Gatwick, Stansted, Luton, they are farther, and a lot of them require a bus, which I've actually had more expensive bus trips than flights, which is crazy. So like I fly into one of these airports and the flight was like $30, but the actual bus trip was like $35 to get to London. So do keep that in mind, even though if you save a lot of money. Right now, this just looks like the best option regardless. So I would definitely fly into Heathrow. So let's see what else there is. The filtering options, I normally go and add in nonstop only. If there's a nonstop option, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to take that unless it's a huge discount. You can even select which airlines you like. So let's say, you're looking to book with points. You could select your airline that you have points with or some of the partners, or you just have a preference. Let's say you have status on one of these alliances. You can go ahead and filter by that. You can set your price range like, okay, you got a budget of $400, and that's pretty crazy. That's the very minimum here. So it's pretty good coincidence that this flight is actually fairly cheap. You can also check out your times. So, I don't love those early morning departures. So maybe, I don't want to take off until, after 11. And maybe you wanted to arrive, you don't want to arrive before like 6 a.m. or something. So you can really filter down these options, and it has like duration, under a certain amount of hours, connecting airports. You can also add that in. And then it has a bag feature, which is pretty interesting, carry-on bag, which allows one for this filter. So if you have 2 bags, you might want to check that and make sure. I only travel with 1 carry-on bag, so it's usually any airline out there allows you at least 1 carry-on. So yeah, let's go ahead and just walk through this process. So select these 2 options, $379 round trip. And here's the part that's pretty interesting. You can track this exact route. You can turn on the flight tracking prices. So right now, anytime that price goes up or down, I'll get an email alert. You have to be signed in. You have to have an account. So you do get 1 free carry-on bag, the first check bag. That's something to consider. That's very expensive, $120. So again, this is why traveling light is so nice. And it gives you down here the booking options. Like Google Flights is an OTA. They don't actually directly book the flights. So at least not currently. They might add that in the future. So again, I would definitely book directly with Virgin Atlantic. So you just click here and it'll take you directly over to the website and allow you to book that flight. So again, this is how I always start off. I will show you a quick other option. So yeah, here's the economy flight, economy light package, same dates. This is a really good deal. I would definitely consider this option and booking with cash. Again, this is a really great value. So I would just want to show you another great option. If you're looking to do something similar, you can use another airline booking system, another OTA called Skyscanner. And this is cool. It has another feature where, let's just say you can't decide where to go. I'm based in Miami. I just want to go somewhere and I want to go to the cheapest place possible. So you can just go in here. Let's do another time in March. And let's do return. So yeah, we can put in the dates. You can put in everywhere here. And then it's just going to show you the cheapest locations. And for me, again, I don't want to do a bunch of stops. So I'm going to do nonstop only. And looks like, you can just click here and it shows you some of the options. Let's say you wanted to travel in the US. You could go from Miami to New York for $200. It shows you all these options for traveling in the US. Wow. Go to my hometown of St. Louis, Missouri, nonstop. But for almost the same price, I could go to Cuba. So there's nonstop flight to Havana. Go to the Bahamas. So there's a lot of good options here. And again, normally this is where I would start off. When I find the good flight, I would go ahead and just book that directly. I think we're going to see the same sort of options here. And look, you could even come to Colombia and Medellin. So if you do find a city that you like, this is kind of the place to start if you don't really know where you want to go. But again, even if you have the exact dates, the exact city and itinerary, I would definitely recommend starting off on Google Flights and then booking directly with the airline. So I hope you enjoyed this, and this has been a really great example. I mean, I literally just logged in and picked out a location, and this took us less than 13 minutes to book a flight. You don't have to spend hours. You don't have to spend days doing this. This technique is designed to make sure you don't have to spend a lot of time, but you're going to get the most results and the best savings out of it. So hope you enjoyed, and happy travels, everyone.